Hi, I'm Gary, one of the instructors at Kollaprompt. Before we start to build anything, let's go through some basic views of the Kollaprompt editor. Kollaprompt editor has three main views. On the left-hand side, you can find the node navigation or all the nodes you can drag and drop to canvas. You can also filter nodes based on few categories. On the middle is the canvas, where you will build your chains. On the right, you can find Inspect View, which lets you modify settings of the nodes if you have selected one on the canvas. There's also another tab called Prototype. Prototype View is bare-bones chat view, which you can use to test your chains. Now that we got the basic views covered, let's actually build something. I want to create a chain that either simply answers to my questions or generates an image based on my request. This means that we need at least some large language model node. We will use OpenAI's GPT node, so let's drag that to canvas. Let's write a prompt that instructs GPT-3 that it's a bot named Ava, and its job is to recognize user intent and based on that either answer the question or generate an image. If user wants to generate an image, it should just reply at image and description of the image user wants to generate. Otherwise, just answer the question. Then finally, we add some structure to help GPT-3 generate text. So let's add question, colon, and our question. For example, create image of red cat, and below that answer colon. This is where GPT-3 will continue text generation. Now let's try it out by clicking the play button. As we can see, we got the output we wanted. Let's change the question to "Hey, how are you?" and try again. Yep, now it seems to answer questions. To make things more reusable, drag a text node to canvas, then copy everything above the question line in GPT node to the new text node. Let's rename it to prompt by double-clicking the name. Let's also rename the GPT node to just GPT. We can now use the value of the text node in GPT node. Go to GPT node and type 2 opening curly braces, then write prompt, which points to the text node we just renamed to prompt, and add 2 closing curly braces. What you just created was an output tag. This tag will render the output value of text node called prompt in its place. Template language used in Kollaprompt is called liquid. You can use pretty much any liquid tag out there. You can use conditionals, for loops, filters, and so on. You can use these tags pretty much in any node. Now let's make it an actual chain. Drag message trigger to canvas. This node will trigger the chain whenever new message is sent to prototype chat. Let's drag edge from output of the message trigger to text node. These lines between nodes are called edges. Edges in Kollaprompt define the execution order in chain. They don't pass any props between nodes, just define the execution order. Now let's drag an edge from text node to GPT node. And then finally, let's add one more node called send message node. This node will send new message to prototype chat. Drag an edge from GPT node to send message node. On the send message node, the role should be assistant. We can leave the name empty for now, and message should be whatever GPT node outputs, so let's use output tag there. Type 2 curly braces, then the name of the node we want to refer to, GPT, and close the tag. There's one thing, we are using hard-coded value as the question. Let's make that dynamic so that the question will be the last sent message to the chat. Go to GPT node, remove the hard-coded value, and add tag with value, last message. This is helper value that you can use in output tags. It will point to last message sent to chat by user. Now we can test this out. Go to chat and type hello. Your chain should run and you should see the answer on chat. Now type, I want to create an image of red cat. And the answer is pretty much what we expected. We're not done yet. We still want the logic to branch out, either generate image or just use the existing answering logic. Let's remove the edge between send message node and the GPT node by clicking it and then clicking backspace or delete button on your keyboard. Let's add router node. Router node is special node. You will add comparison value on it and then some conditions. Based on the conditions, you can define different routes for the chain. Add edge from GPT node to router node. Now we want to see if the output of GPT contains @image, because if it does, we should create an image. So let's add output tag GPT to the first field, then click Add Condition button to add new condition. On the first condition, select Includes from the dropdown, and on the next field, add @image. This now means that if the output of GPT node contains @image, it will continue with that route. The next row is the default route. If any other condition doesn't match, it will continue this route. If our includes condition is true, we want to generate image. Let's drag a model that can generate images. That would be Stable Diffusion node. Drag an edge from the includes condition to Stable Diffusion node. Now let's rename it to image. We want the prompt of Stable Diffusion node to be whatever GPT outputs, so let's add output tag once again. But as we know, the output will contain add image in the beginning, and we don't want that in our prompt. Luckily, we can use concept called filters with tags. On our tag, after GPT, add pipe character, then replace and colon. This filter takes in 2 arguments. It replaces every occurrence of the first argument in a string with the second argument. So we want to type replace @image and empty string. This will now replace every occurrence of @image with empty text, exactly what we want. Next, let's add another send message node. Drag edge from Stable Diffusion to send message node. Message should be whatever Stable Diffusion outputs. Stable Diffusion node outputs URL of generated image. Luckily, Prototype Chat supports Markdown syntax, so we can render image directly in chat. First type exclamation mark, then angle brackets with image description, then parenthesis, and the output tag for Stable Diffusion inside it. This should render image on the chat. Last final thing before testing. Let's make sure we have an edge from router's default condition to the send message we defined earlier. Now everything should be ready. Let's try it out on the chat. As you can see, our bot answers as expected to hello message. Now let's ask if our bot can make an image of a red cat. Yup, seems to work as expected. This was quick introduction to Kollaprompt. You can join the waitlist at kollaprompt.com or read our guide at guide.kollaprompt.com. Thank you for watching.